5 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. When you were a child, did you ever have an assignment like in art class to draw a picture of like lots of kids all standing in a group? And you draw them all kind of looking the same, right? They all look the same. And then somebody else would say, no, you got to have a fat one, you got to have a skinny one, you got to have a tall one, a short one, a black one, a white one, right? You got to mix them all up. You say, oh, yeah, and then you get your eraser out. Oh, let me do this over again, right? Mm-hmm. You ladies have such, oh my gosh, just the social pressure on you is way more than it is on us guys. Although there's a new Ken doll now, lots of different body types of Ken dolls. Did you see that in the news this morning?
For sure. Plus, he's got a man bun.
He's got a man bun.
One of those. He had one before when he was a sumo wrestler, Ken. So I don't know what the big deal is right now.
Are you kidding? Really?
No, they did.
Dr. Ann Helen Peterson is on the phone. She's a celebrity gossip expert, a culture writer for BuzzFeed. I love BuzzFeed. And she's written a book called Too Fat, Too Slutty, Too Loud, My Kind of Gal. The Rise and Reign, I threw that in there. The Rise and Reign of the Unruly Woman. Dr. Ann Helen Peterson, what an honor. Good morning. Thank you for being on the show.
So happy to be here.
Where are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm in Brooklyn.
Nice.
Is that where BuzzFeed is based out of, is Brooklyn?
No, we're in the office is in Manhattan, so I go over the river every day.
Oh, okay, but I mean, still in New York, though. Okay, still in New York. So, I'm a fan of BuzzFeed. It gives me insight into, well, kind of younger thinking and also sometimes female thinking, which I enjoy as well. We use it on the show a lot.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
we steal from you all the time.
I'm 36 and I'm considered old there. So that tells you something about the people generating the content. It's the younger audience for sure.
Oh, is that right? Oh my gosh! Do you know what's interesting to me when you say too fat, too slutty, too loud?
I love that, by the way.
Yeah. The ladies who you name, I love all of them. I don't even get the whole thing, but explain it to me, maybe. Did you write it to be funny?
Yeah.
Or are you making a point?
Yeah, well, so it's not that I think these women are too fat, too slutty, too loud, too pregnant, too shrill, too queer, too strong, all these different things that each chapter, it's that society has labeled them in some way, kind of treading that line. And it's not that they're so, it's not that they're so slutty that they have to be rejected by society. It's more that it's something, that unruliness, that transgressing the boundary of acceptable feminine behavior, it's part of what makes them feel like, so magical, wonderful, like what makes you love them.
Exactly. Yeah. I think the same thing. Yeah. I don't know who is the bad guy here. I don't know if it's men or if it's the media. I don't know who is the bad guy, because most of the guys I know.
Oh, I don't think.
Well, they do think of them. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think it's, a lot of times people think that feminists are like, oh, it's all men, like it's all like just man haters. And that's, I think there's like, it's when we talk about society and how society comes up with, these very silent consensus about what it means to be a good woman or a proper woman. It's not like there's not a meeting backstage where people decide it. It's very subtle and it's very subconscious. But I think that, it's men, it's women, it's gossip magazines, all of it puts together this ideal of what it means to be a proper woman, especially in public spaces.
I think it's super entertaining though, because it's really something else, the way different people, both men and women, gravitate toward these personalities.
Yeah, and that's, it's that moment, the person that kind of the unruly woman par excellence is Roseanne. And I think Roseanne is such a great example of this because, she was on the #1 television show in America. And she was like, there's something electric about watching Roseanne, especially those early TV shows. But then also at the same time, she was like, she kind of grossed people out, and so that knife edge of, I'm fascinated by her, but I'm also maybe grossed out by her. That's what a lot of these women.
Oh my gosh, I can only speak for myself. I think I liked it because she reminded me of kind of 80% of the ladies I knew, you know? She was just fun and and real, you know?
Right. Yeah, and like had, you know, like lived in a house that looked like a lot of houses that people that I knew growing up lived in. Yeah.
And her husband looked like me. Her husband looked like me, so I figured this is not a bad place to be.
Yeah, totally. But then, like, I wasn't allowed to watch it. I grew up in Idaho, and my mom didn't let me watch it because she thought it was kind of in poor taste. And you know, that's language that we use to describe women or situations that, you know, we want to define ourselves against.
Isn't that interesting? Wow. And do you think that, like, okay, there was a story this morning about all the little Ken dolls that are coming out now, and not one of them is ugly. So they're but yeah, ugly never happens. There's no ugly dolls, I guess, except for maybe in that movie. Is there any like kind of schlubby Ken doll? No, I don't think so.
That have like kind of a different body.
Well, Robert said there was a sumo wrestler.
That's the thing.
Years ago with a man bun.
Yeah.
Do you think that women are competing for the personalities that men have? Because it's just so opposite. I mean, you take Hillary Clinton, and she raises her voice and seems to yell at people when she wants to make a point, but then...
And so do men.
Well, but the men sort of yell differently, and they have a different tone in your voice, and their speaking is more palatable than Clinton's.
Deeper voice.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that I've found, like in the process of researching the book, is when we say that Hillary Clinton's voice is too shrill, that's a word that we've come up to talk about a woman who raises her voice in public.
Have you ever heard Richard Simmons?
It's just that yeah, like Richard Simmons has a shrill voice.
Same thing.
Because he has his vocal tone is just different. And so if we have a different, you know, if every time a woman speaks out in public, we're like, oh, she's too shrill, she shouldn't be talking in public. That's a way of trying to say women shouldn't speak loudly in public.
Well, actually, maybe if she sang, it would be different, because sometimes when they sing, it's a lot better. Remember Carly Simon, You're So Vain? You're so vain!
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And then you've got the opposite direction. Years ago, gosh, I just can't remember the name of the actress now, but she played an overweight woman in that movie Georgie Girl all those decades ago. She was real heavy, and then when she got her talk show, people were complaining she was too heavy, so she had to lose some weight, and I can't remember her name, but her personality stayed the same.
Oh, I think I know who you mean.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and like Mae West was super unruly. I don't know if you guys know.
Yeah, baby.
Oh yeah,
that's my kind. I know. That's a little before our time, but.
Yeah, totally. I just a bit like she's one of, you know, I love classic Hollywood stars before my first book is on, and like, but she was super popular for a couple of years, and then there was this huge backlash against her. But she's fascinating to me for the same reason.
Well, I think we are contradictory when it comes to our opinions of people and what we really hope to have. Because the truth is, it doesn't matter what the whole gender is, whether it's male or female, because you really want one partner, and you just hope that one partner, you know, meets all of your requirements or whatever. Fun topic. I've got the cover of the book on the podcast that we're streaming right now, so I'll put that up as a podcast later on YouTube and Facebook. In the meantime, it looks like it's getting really good reviews. And Dr. Ann Helen Peterson, before you say goodbye, do you have a website you want to tell us about?
No, you can just Google my name, and you can find, you know, my Twitter presence and where I write at BuzzFeed too.
Oh, okay, excellent. I know you've got to run. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you.
All right, we will take a break. Be right back.
The Coke 0400. It's where valor meets velocity. It's where celebration meets acceleration. All American meets absolutely amazing. At the Coke 0400, powered by Coca-Cola, Saturday, July 1st. Kids 12 and under are just $20, including free UNOH fan zone admission. Guarantee your seats at 1-800-PIT-SHOP or DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Number 2 on the summer danger list is trampolines. Yeah. Try to get insurance if you have a trampoline in your house. Time to amp up our brain power. And did you know that taking an afternoon nap can make you smarter? Only post one picture of your dog, your baby, or a sunset, not a series. Pulitzer Prize-winning photojournalist David Hume Kennerly says, quote, I get annoyed when people post 10 pictures of their cat when one would have been enough.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Stay informed on everything going on in the villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
Hi, this is Vanessa Lane Jennings with the Jennings Law Firm, located here in beautiful Ocala. Join me every single Friday at 10:30 for Legal Lane. We'll be discussing various legal topics such as family law, criminal law, contracts, and much more. So this is your chance to call in with your legal questions and have them answered. That's every Friday, 10:30, right here, WOCA The Source.
Veterans are the foundation upon which our freedom is built. Listen to The Source, WOCA, each Thursday at 9 a.m. to Veterans News with Hank Whittier from Vets Helping Vets. You'll hear tributes, information on veterans issues, and stories that will make you laugh, cry, and feel proud. Veterans News always focuses on the military, past and present, and on our first responders. Veterans News is brought to you each week by Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery, keeping you blooming since 1952.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On this Wednesday, intervals of clouds and sunshine with a shower and thunderstorm or two, high 88 to 92. Then partly cloudy Wednesday night, low 74 to 78. For Thursday, times of sun and clouds with a shower or thunderstorm, high 89 to 93. And for Friday, partly sunny, just a chance of a thunderstorm, high 89 to 93. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
The Coke 0400. It's where valor meets velocity. It's where celebration meets acceleration. All American meets absolutely amazing. At the Coke 0400, powered by Coca-Cola, Saturday, July 1st. Kids 12 and under are just $20, including free UNOH fan zone admission. Guarantee your seats at 1-800-PIT-SHOP or DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Number 2 on the summer danger list is trampolines. Yeah. Try to get insurance if you have a trampoline in your house. Time to amp up our brain power. And did you know that taking an afternoon nap can make you smarter? Only post one picture of your dog, your baby, or a sunset, not a series. Pulitzer Prize-winning photojournalist David Hume Kennerly says, quote, I get annoyed when people post 10 pictures of their cat when one would have been enough.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Stay informed on everything going on in the villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
Robin, how do you like my design?
You're designing a box?
That's not a box. It's a doghouse.
Rough draft for your rough? Sounds like you need personal service.
I do?
Yes, to print the blueprints. See Mark at the Personal Service Center. He can print blueprints, notarize permit applications, print and mail out invoices, and even provide great-looking business cards.
Personal Service Center. That's the one on the corner of Northeast 25th Avenue and 24th Street, right?
Just look for the yellow signs. Your pedigree palace will be a reality in no time.
That was the sound of a tree falling. It could be your tree. You're going to have it trimmed, but never got around to calling Pride Tree Service. It could have fallen in a field, and now all you have to do is call Pride Tree Service, and they'll have it quickly out of the way for a great price. But don't wait until the tree falls. It may not fall in the field. It may hit your car, your house, or worse. So call Pride Tree Service today and avoid all those headaches before they happen. Pride Tree Service, 572-2510. That's 572-2510.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala.
All right, 20 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Wednesday morning. Here's a little hint. If you're ever going to do a radio talk show and you're looking for the perfect guest, especially the perfect guest who can talk about health issues, Dr. Ken Redcross. Oh my gosh, this guy knows his stuff and he's got radio skills. Those two things come together and we get good information, and his credentials are unbelievable. He's a board-certified internal medicine physician. He's a contributor to the television shows The Doctors, Nancy Grace, The Insider, E! Entertainment. He's the founder of Redcross Concierge. He's a good-looking guy, and I got his picture right now up on the streaming that we're doing, and it'll be, of course, part of the podcast when we get it up later on today. And he's on the phone with us today. He's been with us before. He's been on with us today to talk to us about stroke awareness and prevention. Serious topic. And good morning, Dr. Ken Redcross. Good to have you back on the show.
Hey there, Larry. How are you? It's wonderful to be back here with you guys.
You know, one thing I can't remember is where you are. Are you in Brooklyn? Where are you?
I am in New York City.
Oh, in Manhattan. Okay. Well, thank you for coming on the air with us today.
Oh, absolutely. Such an important topic. I'm glad you had me on here. I hope to educate a lot of folks today.
Well, you know, one of the things I think that when anybody goes to the doctor, sometimes a doctor has good communication skills, or, as they say, bedside manner. And it doesn't mean that they're a bad doctor if they don't. It just means that sometimes you're left confused. And I think you've got those skills. You know how to communicate the important stuff that we need to know.
Well, you know, I think I'm blessed to be able to run my mouth, and I adore people, and I think that really resonates when they come into my office because, you know, you should feel like a doctor is a member of your family, and I think, you know, when you think that way, it makes it a little bit easier to communicate.
Just to jump ahead a few steps, and then you can take us back. For those people who have heard the message before about FAST, F-A-S-T, and all that, and we'll get back to that for those who don't. But I'm thinking a lot of the problem happens not because people don't know, but because they are in denial. They're going through some of those symptoms, and they're saying, no, it's not that. I slept on my arm or whatever. Do you think that's probably true?
I mean, I really do, Larry. And I think the other key is to make sure that you are educated on what a stroke really is. You're right. We use that kind of FAST system as when the warning signs are there to make sure that you're going to be treated and evaluated for a stroke. But we have to understand how important it is in our society. Look, it's the 5th leading cause of death. And I think that's why it's not talked about as much as cardiac disease, which is the number 1 cause. But even though it's the 5th leading cause of death, it's the leading cause of disability here in the United States. And I think that's the statistic that gets people to kind of wake up and say, you know what, maybe I need to understand a little bit more about what's going on as far as strokes.
Okay, so that brings us to point A, and I kind of wanted to do that for those who've never heard the message. If you could kind of go through those simple steps that we can use to recognize whether we're having a stroke or not, and then I wanted to take it from there.
Well, you touched upon it at first when you mentioned FAST, which is an acronym, everyone, that we like to use to let everyone know if you realize that you're having a facial droop. In other words, one side of your face is coming down. Shouldn't happen. The other thing is the A part of FAST, which means if you're having any arm weakness. I also like to throw in lower extremity weakness as well when I talk to patients about it. And then S is speech. If you realize that your speech is slurred or someone close to you's speech is slurred, it's something to think about. And then T simply means it is time to call 911, and that's so important. And I love that acronym because it's easy to remember, but very, very important is making sure that you get to stroke management immediately.
All right. Now, I don't know if I've talked to you about this because maybe it happened since the last time you were on, but Robin, who's not in here right now, one day we were doing the show, and I thought she was talking like a pirate, like on purpose, like being silly. Well, her face was drooping. One side of her face was drooping. And long story short, we went to the hospital, and it turned out to be Bell's palsy. So, but one of the symptoms was part of her... was her symptom. She had the F part, the face part. Could she easily have been in denial and said, no, it's not a stroke, it's something else, and maybe it could have been a stroke?
Well, you know, that's interesting that you mentioned that because that really hits home the importance of having the correct relationship with your doctor to be able to, number one, get to that emergency room or reach out to the doctor. Now, Bell's palsy is a little bit different. than a true stroke when you're actually having blood flow stop to the brain, or either you're having a bleed into the brain. They're a little different in the sense that Bell's palsy can sometimes resolve on its own. But to your point, it's very important that those kind of signs and symptoms are taken seriously. And just like Robin, which I'm glad to hear, I hope she's on the road to recovery, to make sure you're being evaluated as soon as possible.
Yeah, she came back to normal like in a day or two. She was very, very lucky.
Exactly.
All right, so that's where I wanted to go with this. Do we look for all three before we the T part? What's the T part mean again?
No, time. It just means time to go to the emergency room, time to call 911. And so absolutely don't look for two of them. You get the first one and you go and get immediately evaluated and assessed. You know, there are some important things, too, when we're talking about fast. Those are the things you do when these signs come. But what can we do to actually prevent them, right, Larry? One of them is blood pressure. We know that 1 in 6 adults have no idea what their blood pressure is running. And blood pressure or hypertension is an increased risk for stroke. In fact, to the tune of 6 times incidence of actually having a stroke. So that's something that we all have to make sure that we're taking seriously as well.
Really? My notes that I was provided with to prepare for this interview indicate that we shouldn't sleep in. We should wake up when we're supposed to wake up, huh?
Yeah, because there were some studies. The study is a British study, actually, and it said that optimal health for sleep, as we know, guys, is for 7 hours. That's what the CDC said. Now, sleeping more than 10 hours was actually associated with an increased stroke risk. Now, as I read that study and tried to put the pieces together of what that meant, Larry, I realized that if you're sleeping too much, number one, the study felt that maybe you were less active, which makes sense. So if you're less active, you can be overweight and obese, which increases your risk for hypertension. Okay. The other thing is your sleep patterns could be thrown off, which can also increase your stress. And we know that's a risk factor for heart disease, but also a risk factor for brain health. When we talk about strokes are pretty much a heart attack of the brain. Think about it that way, and that really makes you really focus on saying, you know what, maybe I need to pay attention to overall stroke health and prevention.
The notes also indicate the foods that could add to the stroke reduction. And I'm pretty good with some of these. Garlic is in my diet. Coffee's in my diet. Olive oil, not so much. And sweet potatoes, I don't do too much. But so I got 2 out of 4 here.
Well, that's pretty good. You're almost batting 1,000. You'll take 500 in the baseball league these days. So that's a good average. But I'll tell you, to your point, so garlic has allicin, everyone. And allicin is a chemical that's very beneficial to help reduce our blood pressure. Coffee, the study actually showed that 1 cup a day may help to decrease the risk, probably because of the inflammation. Olive oil is probably the best oil out there that we should include in our diet. Once again, it's been shown to help with blood pressure, but also cholesterol. Sweet potatoes, they're rich in potassium, which is also a support. Now, as you're mentioning foods that are important, those are foods that should be on our menu. But, you know, research shows that our brain can actually be repaired and recover. But the key here, Larry, is that you have to respond quickly, kind of like Robin did when we were hearing what happened with her. Now, there's actually a chemical in the brain that occurs naturally in our bodies. It's called acetylcholine. Now, I mentioned acetylcholine because it's kind of newer as far as in a lot of the literature that patients are learning about, and it's actually been shown to be very supportive for the brain, but more importantly, it's been shown to decrease brain tissue damage after injury. Now, this is something that's so important because you look on the TV now, you see so many things out there that are saying that they can make a big difference in your cognitive health or your brain health, but you have to make sure there's studies behind it. So when I talk about acetylcholine, one of the things I do is I tell patients that one of the best ways to get access to acetylcholine is through a medical food called Serenex. Now, Serenex in particular is a little different, Larry, in that it has 500 milligrams of acetylcholine, but the key here is that it had a specific form of acetylcholine that was shown to help prevent and recover damaged brain tissue that was there. More importantly, you know how I am, it had studies behind it. And so that was the thing that was very unique about Serenex when I talk to patients about it who want to really find a way to prevent an aging brain from getting damaged.
Oh, my gosh. So much to learn. Is there a way that we can direct our audience to the information you just said, like a book or a website?
Well, I'll tell you this. So if you're talking as far as the Serenex or acetylcholine to get the best benefit, it's at serenex.com. That's CERENX. .com is the best way. And the other thing that's important too, share it with your doctor. Make sure that you're both sitting down and getting a little more information and understanding some of the science that we're talking about today.
Doctor, thank you for being on the air with us. I was not paying attention to the clock, so I apologize to you and your publicist. We went a little bit over. Dr. Ken Redcross, the website is drredcross.com, just so you know. And we'll put this up on our podcast list. Thank you, Doctor. Good to hear from you again.
You too, Larry. Have a great day.
All right, bye-bye. We'll be right back.
Number 2. I don't know what to call it. Is there a number 3?
Table for 4, please. Anything close to the restroom.
A middle seat with these stomach problems? That's my fear of flying.
Sound like you? If it does, you could be one of the many people with a digestive condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Even if you don't know what EPI is, you might know the symptoms: frequent diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain. If you have even just one of these symptoms, you could still have EPI, because not everybody experiences EPI the same way, which is why it's so important to open up to your doctor about all your symptoms. And the good news is, EPI is manageable, so don't keep a lid on it. Go to identifyepi.com, complete the symptom checker, and use it to have a conversation with your doctor. Don't keep a lid on it. Visit identifyepi.com. Brought to you.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
Yep, we can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too.
Well, as a matter of fact, join me, Matt Gibbs from Sunrise Automotive, every Tuesday at 10 for auto repair with personal care right here on The Source.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.